Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and today I thought we'd do a video kind of about free hits because you guys may know I'm not free hitting this game week, but a lot of you guys are, or at least you're thinking about free hitting, so I feel like I need to cater to you guys a little bit. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing a video in the style of a 100 experts video, but this time we're going to be asking experts for their free hit team. We're going to go through the data and we're going to build the perfect free hit team for you guys to use as a template at home. So yeah, hopefully you really enjoy this video. It took quite a while to make, so yeah, please do leave a like if you don't mind, and please subscribe as well if you enjoy this kind of content. Plenty more of it every single day, so yeah. But without further ado guys, let's meet the experts that helped me out with this content today. So it's not 100 experts, it's 50 experts this week, just because, you know, it takes so long to go through so many screenshots of free hit teams. You know, I had to kind of document, I think almost 1,000 players, maybe it's 750 players I had to document for the purpose of this video to get the data for you guys. Plus, not everyone is free hitting as well, so it's kind of difficult to gather. But thank you so much to the 50 of you who did help over on Twitter. Really appreciate you guys sending me your free hit teams, and we're going to be using this data and we're going to help a lot of people. So yeah, thank you so much. But yeah, let's get on with it. Let's just kind of talk about the kind of data that I received. So here is some general trends I kind of saw cropping up when I looked at these 50 free hit teams, when I trying to kind of analyze them. There were two players in particular that were in every single of the free hit teams that were sent to me. So guys, if you want to start guessing now, who do you think those two players are going to be that are in every single one of the 50 teams? Kind of surprised who the players, who they were, to be honest. I was kind of surprised. I didn't fully expect it, but you know, we'll see that soon. We'll see that soon. We've got 92% of our managers tripled up on Burnley, so had 3 Burnley players in their free hit team. 8% incidentally did not go for the triple Burnley, which is fair enough. Just went for the 2 Burnley players, which is still a lot of Burnley usually, isn't it? So most of the free hit benches are very cheap, so that's a kind of trend we've seen. Well, what I've seen is loads of money on the starting 11, loads of money, lots of premium players, lots of expensive players, but not much money on the bench. So that was kind of a trend there. There are not many options among goalkeepers and forwards. That's kind of what we've seen. So the pool of goalkeepers and forwards being used, very small. I know there's less players in those positions anyway, or they're kind of smaller, you know, player pools anyway, but even so, you know, very few options really among goalkeepers and forwards, and people really defaulting to the same one or one goalkeeper and, you know, 3 forwards as well. So we'll kind of look at that shortly, guys. We'll tell you more about that soon. On the defenders and midfielders, however, a lot more diversity, a lot more, you know, different ideas coming into play. The list of different defenders and midfielders being used was, you know, 5 times the amount of the goalkeepers and forwards. So lots more diversity there. Lots of people trying to go for differentials and stuff in defense and midfield. Not so much in goal and as forwards as well. So that may be something to consider. Maybe defenders and midfielders, that's where you should try and kind of go for those differentials. But now what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go through position by position, look at the most popular players, and then after that, we're going to kind of try and identify the perfect squad, the perfect 15, the perfect starting 11, and the bench as well. We're going to get to that, but first of all, let's go position by position and kind of look at some players that we should probably be thinking about for our free hit teams. So goalkeepers first, let's get the boring one out the way. I've divided this into starting and bench because obviously, you know, although a player like Ben Foster was selected by 26% of our FPL managers who submit their team, you know, that doesn't really suggest to me that that he should be a goalkeeper you should actually use. You know, he's very much a bench goalkeeper. But the starting goalkeepers, there was only 3 different starting goalkeepers out of the 50 teams, and we're going to do things in percentage now, just because it makes things easier to work in percentages, I find personally. So hopefully you do too. But 94% went for Pope as their starting goalkeeper. 4% went to Forster. This is Fraser Forster for Southampton, by the way, not Ben Foster. Don't get confused. And of course, 2% or 1 person went for Edison. You know, not a player you'd usually go for, not a kind of goalkeeper you want to go for long term, but, you know, if you're a free hit, I guess you could go for a player like Edison. But Pope, by and large, the most popular starting goalkeeper. Super popular. You can kind of understand why. You know, even if Burnley do concede goals against against Crystal Palace, against Leicester, you imagine they might possibly concede some goals there. Pope's going to get some save points there as well. Pope's going to potentially get some bonus points. So even if, you get your clean sheet wipeout, you still get the save points. So maybe that's something that's been considered there. In terms of bench goalkeepers, kind of interesting really. Foster is there obviously because he's going to be playing. Gunn, possibly going to be playing, maybe not, but maybe, I don't know, it's possible technically. The other guys are, just your 3.9 million goalkeepers, which I was kind of surprised more people didn't go for 3.9 million goalkeepers, but some people kind of wanted Foster or a Gunn there. Fair enough, but yeah, the 3.9 goalkeepers are probably, where I would go personally, but Foster was the most popular bench goalkeeper, so can't really argue with that. That's the most popular. Let's move on to defenders. So we've got our first 100% player, our first player in every single team, and that was Cancelo, the most popular, joint most popular player for your free hit team is going to be Cancelo. Does that make Cancelo essential? We looked at the last slide, we saw Pope. Does that make Pope essential? I kind of feel like if you're seeing players in this video who are kind of 90% plus, if 90% plus of, real veteran FPL managers, real, good FPL managers, if 90% or more are going for the same player, even 80% or more, that's probably a good suggestion that they're the right player to go for and that you absolutely must have this player. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I would be worried to not go for players selected by 80, 90% plus. So we've got a big 100% on Cancelo. Does that make him essential? I would say yes, it probably does make him essential for your free hit team. Livramento is kind of interestingly up there as well as a starting player most of the time as well. Some people did use him on the bench instead, but in general, vast majority of our FPL content creators, pundits, etc., experts, they have gone for Livramento in their team. Slightly less, we've got Ben Mee. That's an option. Connor Roberts there as well. So kind of people did want to go for a Burnley defender. Kind of maybe a little bit of a split there between Ben Mee and Connor Roberts, the two most popular Burnley defenders by the looks of things. We know Tarkowski is back though, so there was like 2% of people who went for Tarkowski. But I've decided for the purpose, because there was so much diversity on defenders and midfielders, I'm just going to include on the screen people who were selected by 10% or more, just so we got some trends there, rather than just looking at the really rare players here. But yeah, Dallo, kind of interesting. A few people going for him. Luke Shaw as well. Walker Peters was an interesting shout there as well. And on the bench, there's some really obvious bench options. And they're basically just, the super cheap defenders, right? Amati, Tsimikas, Williams. Really base level, super cheap defenders that you can just leave on your bench and not worry about. So that's the kind of bench players we were kind of seeing. But yeah, Cancelo, Livramento, and a Burnley defender. That kind of seems to be the template right now. So yeah, definitely something to think about. The percentage of, people going for Burnley defenders is very high. So I know it looks like me 46, Roberts 34. Are they not so popular? If you look at that as a whole, going for a Burnley defender is popular. So definitely consider that. On to midfielders. Okay, midfielders is where we can perhaps have a little bit more fun. And we've got our second player. So the other player that was in every single team was Heung-min Son. Like, I don't know. I didn't expect 100% of people to go for Son. That seems like a lot. Like, obviously, I'd expect him in 80, 90, but for him to be the joint most popular player, I don't know. I just didn't see that coming. I didn't see it happening. But there it is. 100% of our FPL experts have gone for Son in their free hit team. So maybe another essential player. This is where things get a little bit interesting, and there's a lot of really expensive midfielders in here. People have got some good budget to go for these expensive midfielders. So Mahrez, Fernandes, Sterling, and Sancho, and Foden there as well. All premium, kind of premium-ish at least, midfielders there. Mahrez really popular. Obviously, he's in really good form. We're kind of expecting him to start against Everton for Manchester City there. Bruno Fernandes, obviously very popular as well. People kind of, but you can see in front of you that people look like, when you add 72% on Fernandes to 34% of Sancho, people want to go for a Manchester United midfielder, so kind of pick one in a way. Which one do you fancy the look of more? Perhaps Fernandes is kind of, a little bit, a bit of a more longer term proven asset, I guess. But Sancho is obviously in really good form right now. Maybe you want to go for him instead. Man City guys against Everton, obviously really popular. Mahrez is the most popular one. Sterling is running up the rear there. Foden, pretty popular as a slightly cheaper option, I guess. Much cheaper than your Sterlings, for example. If you want to kind of cut some corners there. Interestingly though, De Bruyne nowhere to be seen. He was actually only on 4%. So only 4% of our FPL experts are actually going for De Bruyne on a free hit team. So those are your most popular. kind of Man City assets. And then we've got Cornet. I know he misses out in the Burnley game in this evening, Wednesday evening, but still, I would expect him to be a little bit higher than 10%. I would have, but only 10% going for Cornet. Ward-Prowse more popular than Cornet on one fixture against Norwich. I don't know. Maybe there could be a good one, I suppose. It could be a good one. And we've got some bench players there. Some kind of cheap bench midfielders. Gilmore, Ramsey, Alan. Not bad at all. Not bad at all for their price, I suppose. At least you're going to get a game out of them, aren't you? And finally, before we build our final team, we've got the forwards. So we'll whiz through this because, again, there's not much diversity here. But Weghorst is on a solid 98%. Is he essential? Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards yes. I'm leaning towards yes, he is essential. We've got Kane here on 92%. Is he almost essential as well? You would say so. So certainly, you want to be going for Weghorst and Kane. After that, maybe you've got a little bit more flexibility, although Broja is miles ahead of any other forward. Aside from obviously Weghorst and Kane, Broja is just clear. So like I said, these three you see at the top, they're just the template for the three here. Everyone is just going for these same three forwards, and you can kind of understand why. Template is template for a reason. There's a reason why these players are so popular. But some people interestingly are going for Che Adams instead as a little bit of a differential on Broja. So maybe if you are feeling spicy, you can swap out your Broja for an Adams. And then Cristiano Ronaldo is in there as well. He's kind of in the mix. On the bench, Gelhardt, Young, Coombs, Ferguson. Most of the teams I saw either played three up front, so three forwards. That was really, really common to see three forwards, so 3-4-3 formation. That was the majority of teams. And even those who didn't go for three forwards, what we would see is kind of Broja first on the bench. So he was in a lot of teams as well. So yeah, certainly Weghorst, Kane, those are where you've got to be eyeing up. So without further ado, guys, let's reveal the final team as built by the data from the experts. This has been calculated based on expert data what the perfect free hit team for this game week is. Let's have a look. And there you have it. Like I said, it's in a 3-4-3 formation. I've put obviously the percentages of how many, how highly they were included in the data that I collected today. We've got, Cancelo 100%, Son 100%, and all the other popular guys there. All of these players that you see on the pitch, bar one, and that's Ben Mee, were selected by over 50% of experts. Some obviously a lot higher. Some of them are 90% plus. In fact, Pope, Cancelo, Son, Weghorst and Kane, all 90% plus. So that's just spine there for your team. And aside from that, you've got this really, really expensive midfield. Look at this midfield. Son, Mahrez, Fernandes, Sterling. That is such an expensive midfield. And you've got Kane up front as well. A lot of the budget is cut. Livramento and me, obviously really, really cheap. Weghorst and Broja, cheap attackers there as well. But cheap playable players, which allows you to just really splash out on those midfielders. Essentially getting... Well, I mean, you could arguably call this a 4 premiums. Son, Fernandes, Sterling, Kane. That's arguably 4 premiums. And it's not something you'd want to do long term, but the beauty of the free hit is for 1 week only, when you're not too worried about the structure of your team, the structure of your finances around your team, and the flexibility of your finances around the team, you can just go crazy. And that's exactly what this team has ended up being. So this is the template, guys. What you'll notice is the bench is super, super weak. So maybe you're not totally happy with that. Maybe you want to put a little bit more money on the bench. You'll also notice that the team value is 103.5 million, which maybe seems like a little bit of a lot, but obviously because this team has been created based on FPL experts, their budget and their team value is going to be a little bit higher just because of their picks throughout the season. They're going to have a slightly higher budget. That's natural, but there are some corners to be cut here. For example, you can take Ben Mee down to Connor Roberts. That saves you 0.3 million. On the bench, I'm seeing Foster immediately. He could be downgraded to a 3.9 goalkeeper. That frees up 0.2 million there. You can downgrade Fernandes to a Sancho if you're happy to do that. Mahrez or Sterling down to a Foden. There are different kind of options of how you can make this a little bit more affordable. But honestly, I look at this team, and having built it from all the data today, looks like the optimum. It kind of looks like the optimum game week 27 free hit team. I'm not going to lie. So I would use this. If I was free hitting, I would use this as a base level. Just your standard team, and then from there I would start tinkering with it a little bit, maybe making a few changes to it, adding in some differentials. Maybe you fancy Che Adams as a differential, for example. Maybe you fancy James Ward-Prowse or someone like that as a differential. Maybe you don't really like the look of Livramento. Maybe you don't like the look of Ben Mee. You want to switch things up a bit. completely up to you, and you can kind of go crazy with that a little bit. So yeah, that's what I would basically do. Use this team to your best ability, and you know, kind of add some spice. Gotta add some spice. Obviously, I've added captain to Weghorst. He was the most popular captain from all the teams that were sent to me, and I've put the vice captain on Son as a reward for his 100% inclusion in all of the expert free hit teams. So there you go. That is scientifically, maybe, I don't know, my personal science, scientifically the best Game Week 27 free hit draft. It's official. It's official. There we go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video or found it useful at least, maybe. I hope you did. If you did, please do leave a like, massively appreciated. Subscribe as well if you want to have more FPL content in your YouTube feeds. It's massively appreciated. I'm going to do my best to give you the best FPL content on the platform. We'll see about that. But there we go, guys. I've got my team selection video to come this game week. I don't know if I'll make any other videos. Maybe I'll do obviously a deadline stream as well. So yeah, loads of things to come, I guess. So yeah, look forward to that. But aside from that, thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.